Just got back from a couple of hours drive, so it wasn't that far away, but I have got a Data East, Rocky, and Bullwinkle. So I'm going to go ahead and set this thing up, and we're going to see if there's anything wrong with it. Let's go. Okay, now that we are all set up on all fours, I just plugged it in. Let's turn it on. I turned it on before I bought it, guys. So I know that getting power to it, it shouldn't give me magic smoke unless something happened in transit. But I will go ahead and just turn it on, and we'll give a quick little tour of what it looks like and what we're seeing on first boot up. Because once again, I have a talent for purchasing games where they don't have the keys. And I don't like drilling out the locks on site, because that could be a good thing and a bad thing. So depends on the situation, but majority of the time I'm willing to just take it as is, and sometimes you can get a better price by not drilling, because you kind of have it open for mystery. You could open the back box and the boards could be all covered, but I'm not getting any kind of errors upon boot up, except that it's missing 2 pinballs. So hopefully the batteries that are on the MPU are still intact, but I don't know yet. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so we have an intact topper, so that's a plus. Typical dust and dirt. Let's take a look at the cabinet. Very little to no fading, even though I think the last year or so it was near a window. Thankfully the blinds were shut, but everything looks to be intact. Got some minor scuffs and everything. A little bit of damage right here. As far as the back glass goes, the mirroring is intact. I think the spot that I saw, yeah, right here. The DMD was in good shape. I know I've got audio on boot up. Majority of the lights turn on, but that's all I've got to go on, so let's turn it on. All right. So for all I know, maybe moving it might have jostled something and a ball might have freed up, and hopefully the balls that were missing while I was there are now free and I can start a game. But let's see here. So yeah, the DMD looks good, nice and bright colors on that. Let's see if it still detects a missing ball. Ha! All right, so that's pretty sweet. That flipper works. That flipper works. Looks like they're working up here. Let's launch a ball. All right. Oh, one-handed. It looks like it plays, guys. So that's one problem solved already before when I was there, so that always helps with price. You never know. But all right, so now that I know it looks to be working, we're gonna see if everything works on it and see if we can fix what doesn't work. So let's work on getting this lock unlocked. Alright, so that was actually relatively easy to lockpick. Luckily it wasn't a double-sided bitted key, so those are much easier than the double-sided. So as you can see, there's no lock damage. Was able to get that open without the key and without having to drill it out. So I'm going to end up having to replace the lock anyways because I don't have the key, and that's just not going to be good. So at least now I have full access to the machine. So now if I want access to this is going to require a security bit key, and I can't get a good shot of that. It's pretty close. Either way, I'm not seeing the key in the door right here. So I'm just going to take the lock off the back box unless the key is down here somewhere. All right. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. The security bit key is right here. And we're gonna pull the bit that we need out and get that lock off. All right, so all I did was attach the security bit that I need on the end of this. Basically just gotta remove these 2 screws. All right, now that both those screws are out, then the lock comes out like that. So now, I can now remove the back glass. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Woo! We lock this. Oh, I can't lock it. So that explains why we have a rubbed off mark right here on the back glass, is because this was just free to rub against it on that pivot point. So, Panasonic's batteries. Yay! Pretty sure they were Duracell, then this board would have been a goner. Alright, let's see how our GI looks for this Data East. We get a flashlight, but this thing looks really good right now. Alright, here we go. So, oh my god, this power supply is beautiful. This cable is a little bit out. That connector is. Man. Yeah, that power supply board looks amazing. And let's look down here at the driver board. Soundboard looks good too. Small little cobweb right here. That connector would need to be pushed in a little bit better. Since I know I've got at least one switch, I'm gonna reseat these connectors down here for all my switches and my lights. You'd be amazed that just a simple reseat on stuff can help. But yeah, batteries up here, no leaking or anything, so that's great. Guys, we're looking at a pretty darn good looking Rocky and Bullwinkle here. Looks like these might be all functioning. Yep. Yeah, if only they would have put something in here to keep that from messing up the back glass. All right, so got the glass off. Let's turn the game on. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the menu system here and see what we got. All right, so right now it's saying left orbit bottom, and so number 33 and number 52 are being activated. And it looks like every dot on the display is working as well. That's nice. Oh, I got one dot out. Son of a biscuit. Let me get the camera so you can see that. I got one dot. One damn dot. We're going to test all of our switches now. Left flipper. Oh, that's interesting. For a second there, I was getting trough readings on this. Okay. I don't know. We'll see, but that was different. That was a little weird. All right. So we're just going to check every switch that needs to be adjusted. Kind of wonder how. I don't know if this diverter is going to work. That seems pretty iffy. We'll have to see what it looks like down below. So it looks like every switch that I'm able to access with ease is working on the top side. Let's pull this Playfield up and see what we got. All right, Playfield is up. I have found both of my Playfield stands right here. For whatever reason they were taken off. I found the tilt bobber because that was missing, so I got the wing nut for that as well. Flipper controller board cover that's supposed to go right there. Pieces of hardware. Overall down here at the bottom it looks pretty darn good though. Shop vac should take care of all that. Alright, so I'm going through my coils, making sure everything's working. Then I get to lion insert, which is this one right here. And it looks like we've got an issue right here. Things are not in the place they need to be. That's working. So I need to finagle some stuff around here. But this needs to be somewhere else than what it's at, because that's not right. If I test it, pretty sure it's not supposed to just be up there and stay like that. So that needs to be in the correct orientation. So that's another thing I need to work on. All right, another issue is the Super Vuck, which is that one, you can't see jack diddly from here, but it's the Vuck in here. I test it, but if I put my hand down there and kind of push it up a little bit, the rod, then it works. So it's another thing I'll have to tinker with. Moving on. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to like disassemble this and get it all cleaned up and just kind of like rebuild it, because it looks like it's a number of issues. It may only work in because it's getting stuck, and it's just that's gonna have to be all nice and cleaned up. Now the Rhino, that works like it's supposed to, so that's one less thing. And just as I thought, the ramp diverter. Now if I do that, hey, it works, but I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be freely being able to do that, so that's going to have to be looked at. All right, so going through all the coils and all the flashers work. The GI relay works, except for the only things that are bad are the things that I pointed out to you, mainly up here on the back glass, and this diverter that is not working 100%. And the Vuck down here that's not working 100%. But everything else seems to be working pretty good. The saw motor over here, I can see it moving a little bit. So, I mean, that seems to be going all right. Now it's just a matter of starting to tinker and get it all working. All right, we're back at it. I have got the Playfield stand-up rails right here. So at least now I can rest the Playfield in the cabinet. When it comes to this Vuck, we are missing hardware right here, which is a contribution to why this thing is not working 100%. So, should not be loosey-goosey like that. I'm gonna take this thing apart, get it all cleaned up, and then tightened up and see where we're at. All right, so after getting everything all tightened up and adjusting that switch needed to be pulled further into that Vuck rod. So now, took a little longer than I'd like it to. There we go. Let me go up here with it. All right. So I want to say Playfield wise, everything should be working now. I guess let's start working on this. Correction, I still need to fix this. Looks like it's all, you know, connected and everything down there. It's not loose. It's just that it's just binding up on something. So I just need to take it apart and make sure everything is nice and straight and not bound up on anything. That's usually why we have this problem right here, is whenever something is not aligned correctly. So let's pull the hood up again. All right, so the coil in question is this one right here. If I flip the diverter over, if I can find it, here we go. It should push back up on its own, but it's going down and staying down. So all I'm really gonna have to do to figure out what's going on is just loosen up these screws right here and seeing it wiggling it around gets it to function, and then just basically tighten it up, get it nice and straight. Should not have to add any kind of lubrication to anything.
All right, so if I push this in, wiggling this around doesn't allow me the ability for this thing to spit back out. So that tells me that there is a restriction, more than likely, in here. It's probably pretty gunky and dirty, but that should push back willingly. Something needs to be adjusted, so disassemble. All right, so by loosening the grub screw right here for this, which I'm pretty sure that is not the correct screw for this rod, but that allows free motion right there. So that tells me the restriction is within this unit right here. So here we go. All right, so one of the issues I'm seeing is that this rod, it's got all kinds of gunk and everything on it. I think this machine at one point in time was pretty close to the ocean because we got a lot of buildup and everything on a lot of the metal parts in this machine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it all nice and cleaned up as a start, and then I'll clean out the other portions of everything. But we'll start right here and make this thing look a little better. All right, so to get this looking a lot better, took 1200 grit sandpaper to the rod first to get all the heavy buildup off of it. And a little bit of rouge and my polishing wheel right there. And God, this thing doesn't want to focus. And it looks a lot better than it did. So let's put it back in the game and see what we got. All right, after getting everything all cleaned up, we have a fully free-flowing rod. Well, we'll see when it's resting down. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it up and adjust that, so it's not 100% just yet. All right, work to go. There we go. Just need to make sure that this is pushed all the way and flush against the plastic sleeve. If I can get an angle on it right there. If there's any kind of gap between this and the plastic right there, then you're gonna get play for error. So make sure that's completely flush up against it and ain't going nowhere. Now, good to go. So I think the bottom side of the playfield is working now. I believe so. I had to adjust this switch outward so that way whenever the ball goes down, this switch kept on trying to fly up on top of the yellow plunger portion right here. So I moved that, bent it over so that way now whenever the ball lands on there, it's going to hit that switch no matter what. So that should fix that problem. For those that are curious, this method works for data east. If the hardware is just like this, you've got these that should keep this playfield from moving forward and back. So it works the same way. And you have complete access to the entire top side of your game, all nice and secure with the slope, so you still can play test it. All right, so I just got finished playing a game. Everything looks to be working. This diverter is working the way it's supposed to, so that's always a plus. Buck is working just fine. Everything looks to be doing good. So now it's on to getting this all built correctly and stuff. I think this is all kinds of whacked up, so we're gonna start disassembling and getting things all cleaned up and see what all's broken. I know we got some broken parts. I just hope it's nothing too major. But I think there is, because I know I saw some plastic parts down here. We'll see.